Hey, welcome to Two Guys Garage. Today, the show is all about rehab.
That's right. Hair of the dog, a Bloody Mary, whatever your concoction, we're going to take this car with a long life, rough 100,000 miles, and give it another 100K.
Yeah, we're getting into it too. Everything from the timing belt to the water pump, plugs, brakes, and so on.
You name it, we're going to have some fun. Stick around. There's the damper.
Thank you, sir.
Cool. All right, now we got a 2003 Cadillac CTS, 117,000 miles.
Yeah, man. Remember that used to kill a car 100,000 miles. Well, now they last 200, 300 if you treat them right.
That's right. You got to give them a little respect.
Yeah.
Now we got little Megan. She's going off to college. This is Dad's car. He's owned it for, umpteen years now. Kind of taking care of it, but
the last thing you want, man, is the kid to return home and the car to return home.
Especially the kid. It's harder to get him out the door the second time around.
Get out.
Especially little Megan. We want to take care of her. So we're going to go through this car top to bottom. Now AC Delco hooked us up with a slew of parts so we can take this 117,000 mile car and throw another 100 on it.
Yeah, man. At the 100,000 mark, it says replace spark plugs, the timing belt, which we're going to get deep into, replace fuel filter, training fluid, and a bunch of other stuff that we're going to set her up with.
Yeah, you got some hardcore things that you want to replace at these key milestones, and then you got a bunch of little stuff that's just trickling along, ready to get fixed as well. Now, the first thing we're going to do is start on the timing belt. It's one of those things that you can kind of forget about. It's kind of hidden in there. You don't always see it, but it's one of those items that for a split second,
if it fails, you're in trouble.
No, you're more in trouble. You're done. That engine is sauce. So what we're going to do is get in here and dig this out. We got the cover loose, we got that damper off, and show you what all is going on. Now, what's neat about this car, it's a V6, 3.2 liter, but it's a more complicated belt than most of us are used to seeing on a little 4-cylinder. Now check it out. We got down here, we have the crank. So we've got, a cog down here, and it's going to drive this belt. So it's going to pull this belt down because the engine's turning clockwise. So it's pulling this side, right? So it's going to right up here. It's going to drive this cam and this cam. Now we're going to run down here so we got plenty of grip around, and we're going to run down here to this little idler and back up and across. Now we've got a tensioner here to provide the right tension on that belt, and back down to the crank to do it all over again. Now, all of that has to be just in sequence and spot on the money, because you take a valve and hit it on a piston.
Ooh, trouble, man.
Bad news.
And the tough thing about when you're doing this, we got some particular tools that help us keep this phasing intact, because if you get it out of phase and some of the valve train moves, the crank moves, then you're in all kinds of trouble.
That's right.
So we'll show you some of that. And another thing we're going to get into, since we have it here and exposed and this far down, everybody that we talked to said a good thing to do at this point is replace the water pump.
So, definitely. You've already got a lot of miles on it, and it may still be good, but you've already got labor pulling all this stuff out. So you're right there. It's real easy. All you got to do is throw a single part at it. Well, also, in the order of operations, we'll go ahead and do the water pump first, because more than likely it's going to dribble some cooling down. So we don't want to dribble coolant on a brand new belt. So let's go ahead and do the water pump, and we'll get onto that belt. We'll get on moving.
All right, now we got this old water pump out. Right out of the gate, you could tell it had some binding and a lot of stuff going on in that bearing. And then you see on inspection, you see this weep hole where it was actually leaking outside of the pump. Now, had we put a new timing belt on without replacing this water pump, then you could obviously tell that some of that coolant would have got on and ruined the belt. So it's a good thing that we changed the water pump now. Now let me show you a couple things about when you do the water pump, some tricks that might help you out. Now you see it's an O-ring, so you don't want to put silicone in here. What a lot of guys do and a lot of techs do is we'll still put silicone in here. Well, this seal inside this water pump is actually cooled by the actual engine coolant. So you don't want that RTV or that silicone in there, because what happens, it gets tied up in this bearing and then acts as a ribbon. It wounds up in there, and that way you can't keep it cool, and you'll end up having a faulty water pump again. So a good tip, maybe put some Vaseline in there. This one's holding in pretty well. So we'll clean up this surface, get this mated back onto the block, and then get into the timing belt. All right, Kev.
You got yours locked in?
I think it's pretty much locked in, man.
All right, well, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna find TDC. Now, you're gonna do that by, rotating the engine around. You've got a mark on your crank, and there's a little mark at the very bottom of the timing cover, and those will line up. Well, that could be TDC, or it could be 180, 180 degrees off at top dead center on the exhaust stroke. But the way to tell, it's real easy. You've got a notch in your cover, and you've got a little notch in each one of these cam gears on all 4 of them, and they're all going to align straight up and down. Now, a belt is going to stretch over time, and a chain, you know, timing chain, it'll stretch and wear over time. So what's kind of interesting is I can mark my crank at TDC, and I can follow here, and the whole way along this belt, this one lines right up with the mark. This one's sagging a little bit further.
As you go more on this side, it sags just a little bit more and even further on the final one.
Yeah, so you can see the actual wear and stretch on the belt. So another reason to replace it other than just pure failure. Now, the one thing we need to do is we need to lock these cams in, because there's these lobes, you know, with springs and valves pushing on top of those cams. So you rotate the cam to a certain position, a cam lobe is driving that spring, and if I were to release that belt, that cam might roll back, and this one might roll forward, and this one might move over here and over there.
It messes all that phasing up, and then you have a really difficult time aligning everything back up.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see maybe a slot in the back of the cam, and you can put a bar in, you know, to lock both cams together. Here's a neat little tool. You can adjust it, and it'll grab the teeth and lock cams in.
Slides right in the cogs, bites down on it on both the pulleys for both sides of the banks, so that way it's not going anywhere. You know it's locked into place. So when we slide that belt off, take the tension pulley off, so it makes it a lot easier lining up.
Yeah, so we're set. We got TDC, cams are in position. All we got to do now is loosen up our tensioner, our little idlers here, and we're ready to slip that belt off and go to brake. So stick around.
Ethanol used in today's fuels can be harmful to your engine. It can clog up fuel lines and cause corrosion and deposits in your car's injection system. Protect your engine from these harmful deposits with Rizlone's gasoline fuel treatment. Add 1 bottle to your fuel tank at your next fill-up or when your tank is nearly full. It will reduce water in the fuel and stabilize it to clean injectors. Use Rizlone's gasoline fuel treatment with unleaded, E85, and ethanol-containing gasolines. Each bottle includes a fuel delivery spout, which will make it easier to pour into your fuel tank. Use Rizlone's gasoline fuel treatment every 5,000 miles. This tip is brought to you by Rizlone, affordable solutions to expensive automotive repairs.
Hey, welcome back. Now we're about to put our new AC Delco timing belt on our old 2003 Cadillac. Give it some more life.
Yeah, man, you can see I got the old bracket off. Here it is. You can see some of the wear that it was causing and some of the little fur balls and debris that was coming off the belt.
Build-up of worn belt stuffed in there.
The cool thing about this AC Delco kit is it comes with a new bracket, tension pulleys, belt, everything.
Yeah, so we've got 2 idlers, and they're both on cams. We'll show you how that works, and we've got a tensioner to get the right belt tension. So that's all installed. Now we're going to start installing the belt. So we've got direction arrows, which is going in the direction of the engine rotation. We've also got some timing marks to kind of give you an indication that you've got everything timed right. You're not off by a tooth. So I'm going to line those up with the notches that we kind of showed before. So I've got these 2 cams, and I'm going to start wrapping it around. And I'm going to loosen the eccentric on my first idler down here and wrap underneath the crank. Okay. And I'm going to have to get under there at some point and just double check that I've got the right timing mark from the belt under the bottom of that crank on its little mark, and then we'll work our way up. And then the Tough part is just getting it to slide over the gears, even though we've got it untensioned. You got it there?
Yeah, man, it's coming on pretty
Just
good.
sliding over. Perfect.
There you go.
Perfect. Yep.
All right, so I got this one lined up. Got this one lined up for this notch here.
Yep, so we're all the way around. We got all our marks. We'll double check the crank one down here. And the first thing we're gonna do is come in here with our eccentrics. Now these are little idlers, but they're gonna be able to swivel. And if I swivel this guy over, it's gonna effectively change the length between my cam and my crank. Now what that's gonna let me do is slightly change my phasing on this bank relative to the crank if it's fixed. So I can use that to tune this bank in. And then once that's locked in, I can come over here and I can do the same thing with this guy, changing the effective length between these 2 points and dial this guy in so that everything is right on the money and this engine will run just like it came from the factory.
Pretty sweet, man.
So once those are locked down, we've rotated the engine over several times, tweaked it a little bit. We can set our tension, put everything back in.
Okay, so that went fairly easy. Button up the top half of the motor. Now we'll do some simple maintenance stuff like the air filter, some fluids and so forth. What's up, Kev?
Yeah, man, that went real easy when I walked away for a minute. Yeah. Nice job getting that front end buttoned up.
Thanks,
We're
man.
gonna throw a new battery in for Megan.
Yep.
Make sure you get the right size, shape, check your cranking amps, terminal locations, and all that good stuff. So we'll drop that guy in there, hook up the terminals. We got the hard stuff done with the timing belt, so the rest of it's kind of easy. Hoses, belts, batteries, filters.
Stuff you could do in your driveway, you know.
So we totally drained the cooling system, new water pump, new hoses. We got to fill it back up. Now GM recommends Dex Cool, so that's the type of coolant you want to get for your car.
No garden hose fill-ups.
No garden hose. So you want to use coolant, but you want to use a 50-50 mix.
Yeah.
You can get it already in a bottle mixed, or you can get the pure antifreeze and you want to mix your own. But make sure you use, you know, a purified or distilled water, because you don't want bad chemistry in your cooling system. You get corrosion, you get wear on your seals, so make sure you do that right.
And to get that right proper mix, you maybe want to do a half gallon of the concentrate, a half gallon of the water, half gallon of concentrate, and so forth. So you get a good, you know, diluted mix.
That's right. All right, so we'll start topping that off. We got the front end just about coming together. We got some codes going on with our O2, so kind of leading towards a bad catalytic converter on one bank. We're gonna get under there and check that out. We've also got some brakes, so we got a whole lot more in store. Stick around, we'll be right back. All right, today's tech tip brought to you by Federated Auto Parts. Now we've got an older Caddy. It's one of the first vehicles that had TPMS, tire pressure monitoring system. Now if you've never seen or heard of one, it's your old valve stem, goes in the wheel just like normal, but it's got a sensor in it. It tells the vehicle what your tire pressures are. So if you get low, you know, if you got a tire blowout, I mean, you got a warning right there to make sure you got proper fuel economy and most importantly, your safety. Well, they only last about 8 to 10 years and this Caddy's getting old, so we're gonna go ahead and replace them. And it's a really easy setup. You can go to TechSmart and you can pick up a couple of different tools. Now, if we want to go around the vehicle and just check, you know, what our sensors are doing, what the ID numbers are, it's real easy. You go in here, you put your vehicle in, and you can go right up to the wheel, zap, it puts all the information right in there, and it gives you the information number for each sensor. And that's what the computer is reading. It knows if it's left or right or forward or backwards. So if I've got that information, I don't even have to take the tire off. Now once I've got that sensor ID number, whether I scan it or I read it off the old sensor, I can drop a new one right into this little guy right here, punch in the number for that sensor ID, and now this guy has been coded to the same number that you're taking off the old wheel. Everything works perfect. Now what's great about a system like this, a tool, is you could have 2 sets of tires, maybe snow tires. And you can program them all so you can swap tires and your computer doesn't know the difference and everything is happy. And it's a great way to make sure that you've got the proper performance and the proper safety in your vehicle. You can pick up new sensors from Standard Motor Products, and you can pick up all the tools and the parts at Federated Auto Parts.
Now, our Cadillac, having 117,000 miles, pulled all kinds of codes. One of them was to tell us that the catalytic converter was bad. Its oxygen storage capabilities were poor. So basically what that means, what that tells us, is you need to get a new catalytic converter. And our friends at Federated hooked us up with this AP exhaust technology catalytic converter. Now, if anyone has ever seen water come out of the end of an exhaust pipe, the catalytic converter is doing a pretty good job. It takes NOx exhaust and hydrocarbons, turns it into water vapor by adding oxygen. So the old one's pulling codes. We'll get this new one with an Arista core in it. That means this new technology from 2012, as opposed to 10, 11-year-old technology that's saturated with lead, not doing its job anymore. So we'll get this new catalytic converter on, get Megan back on the road.
All right, we're gonna do a nice quick brake job for Megan and our slew of other great upgrades on this car. And I can see with the wheel on, we've got some pretty serious rotor wear. Pretty nice lip on there. And now peeking up at the pad, we're micromillimeters, if that's even a thing, from metal-to-metal contact. So perfect timing. Now we've got 3 choices with AC Delco. So they've got their Advantage brand, their Professional, and their OE. Well, because we got a lot of miles on this car, but we still want to keep really good quality, good brake feel. It's a Cadillac. We went right smack in the middle, professional grade. So we've got the rotors and the pads. Now this is a ceramic pad. Now, as you guys know, it's going to be really low on dust, low on noise, great long life, good stopping power, and we've got a good, non-directional surface on here, so these are going to bed in really well together. And we've got a hardware kit that comes with the pads, so that's nice. That's where everything's going to slide here between the pad and the actual caliper brackets. And we're going to make sure we lube everything. This is a silicone lube. It's meant for brakes. It'll go up to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, so it won't burn off, it won't melt, won't hurt any of your seals. So I think I'm going to size up my tools, start knocking this job out, and as you can see, we got a whole lot more over there, so stick around, we'll be right back.
This segment of Two Guys Garage is brought to you by Condon Skelly Collector Vehicle Insurance. Condon Skelly, we insure your fun.
Hey, welcome back. Next up, you gotta love this thing, the Cummins Onan 7 kilowatt gasoline mobile commercial generator. This thing is boss. Wherever you need power, it's got it for you. Check out this Big Daddy.
Yeah, what's nice about this is a commercial grade unit. So it's built for all kinds of rugged applications, emergency vehicles, telecom fleets, you name it, this guy is built for all those applications.
Look at all the stuff they did just to make it quiet. Set on springs, it's got a muffler inside. I'm the guy at the track with the really loud generator. Hate it.
Yeah, well, when you're on the job, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, right, that's the last thing you need to do is have that thing pounding in your ear, and you want it to be dependable, reliable, and get you the power where you need it.
Fuel injections, so it has cold start reliability, hot start reliability.
Yep, it's got emissions, it's got great emissions. Like you said, the muffler's internal, everything's quiet. It's got an optional hydraulic pump assembly that'll come right off of here. And you can see it's real easy. Push start here, you got your fuses. This guy is ready to go. Super great unit. This is the Cummins Onan, and they got plenty of units depending on whether you want a commercial or you want something for your RV, something at the track, so check them out. All right, next up from AC Delco, one of the coolest tools you could have in a shop. It's their digital inspection camera.
Yeah, and this thing literally, it's a camera. Can you imagine all the uses you could do? Check out cylinder walls, check out if you hurt your pistons. And this thing's an actual camera. Check that out, see Kev? And you can flip it 180 degrees.
Yeah.
All right, so you get those hard to reach places like this, looking inside a catalytic converter. You could also magnify it up to 2.5 times so the image gets closer. All kinds of uses for this.
Oh yeah, you can change the brightness. You got 5 different scales. You can video output. So if somebody comes in, they're burning oil, you want to look inside a cylinder, see if there's scratches on the cylinder wall, they broke a piston. You can capture that and show the customer exactly what's wrong. If you're an inspector, you can look up, in an air duct, you can find that funny smell under the dash, right? 1,001 uses. It's really cool tool, AC Delco.
It's available at Federated Auto Parts.
That's right, it's their digital inspection camera.
And next up for Gorilla Tools, the Find It Socket labeling system. What a big help this is, bro.
Man, especially when your eyes are going sour. You got these little engravings you can barely read, but as soon as you slap that decal on, bam, you can read that sucker from across the room.
Yeah, and it's great too because it's tools to help find tools. This always gets filled up with dirt and grease. You can't find it, they rub off. With this label on there, it's easy to spot, easy to grab. They come in metric and standard.
Yep, you got 84 of those guys. If that's not enough, you can just buy another pack because they're not very expensive. These are Gorilla tools. It's the Find It socket labels. Pick you some up. All right, next up from C-Tech, it's their MUS 4.3. It's a battery maintainer and charger.
Yeah, it has 8 steps of charging. It will tell you here that that's on a car battery, large battery, has a small battery mode, a winter mode, and a recondition mode.
Yeah, what's great about that is you can use it on your lawnmower, your car, your motorcycle, all your different equipment in your garage, your shop, or whatever, at your cottage. So the one-stop shop, it's great. It's got electronics in there, so it'll automatically figure out what type of battery, absorb glass mat, traditional, you name it.
Yep, it's C-Tech, it's the MUS 4.3.
For more information about anything you've seen on today's show, check out speed.com or visit TwoGuysGarage.com.
Hey, welcome back. Now we're just topping off the last bits on this Cadillac. Get Megan back to school.
Yeah, because we don't want to see Megan or the Cadillac again, at least not for a little while.
Yeah, not at home. She can stop by, the car can come over, but
bring some
anyway,
dinner.
we're gonna have a little fun with a segment from, one of the tools we had earlier on our show called Where Are We Now? So we're gonna zoom in somewhere in the universe and you try to guess where we are.
Okay.
Let's take
a
a
little AC Delco camera somewhere in the
Yeah.
internals of the motor. Where are we at, okay?
Oh, you're already giving hints away, All right, so we're zooming around. We're checking things out. Oh, what's that over there? You got. Oh, what's going on here, man? You guys get any ideas? You get any ideas? Oh, what's that? That's not a body part. I promise you.
Kev, I'll
All right.
take
What's your
intake
best
manifolds
guess?
for 600.
Oh, but you were cheating. All right. Any of you guys out there said intake manifold? You're a winner today.
Yeah, nice, man. Pretty cool tool for sure.
Yeah. Well, we got spark plugs to go. We got our coil pack pulled off here. We got coil on plugs. You can see the plug will stick right up in there, and that's how the newer engines operate if you haven't seen them.
You can actually get down in the cylinder, see any piston damage, any cylinder wall damage, any things like knocks and so forth. So let's go ahead and check that out real fast.
Yeah, we'll slide that guy down here. We'll do a little fly down. Check it out. This is what your spark plug sees as it's getting ready to drop in there and get ignited and burned with some serious hot gases. There we go. There's the top of the piston. Looks pretty decent. And if we can get over here to the side, actually see the cylinder walls. There's no scuffing, scratching. So everything looks really good in there. You can look for things like, knock pitting, cracks, top land braking, valves, which is really bad, seats, all that kind of stuff, to see if your internals look really good. So anyway, really fun. We'll just drop that in there. Nice shot, man, actually, except can't get that camera out. Yeah, so we'll get our plugs in, top this thing off, and this thing is ready to roll out the door.
Yeah, think about it. We've done timing belt, catalytic converter, water pump, battery, filters, done 100,000-mile makeover on this car.
Yeah, thanks to Federate Auto Parts for hooking us up. A lot of great AC Delco components. So this thing's ready to ride. We're out of time, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Yeah. See you next time.